Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a little bit of a look at Crown Zenith, and Silver Tempest, and Lost Origin. And we need to do that thing we tend to do when a new set is revealed and we know a bit about it, where we take a look at that and we compare it to the other sets that we've seen recently, and we ask ourselves the question, which of these is worth getting? Which is worth investing in? Which of these is worth saving our money for? Because with the best will in the world, we don't all have infinite money. We can't all spend lots and lots of money on every set that is revealed. So sometimes we need to make that decision as to which of these sets is more worthy of our pennies. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what I am here for. So, the set which is just about to come out is Silver Tempest. And Silver Tempest is an interesting one to me. It is not going to have the impact on the game in terms of the metagame and the competitive scene as Lost Origin did. Now, it must be borne in mind that it is still a very good set, and if nothing else, it's bringing in Lugia V-Star. And Lugia V-Star is a phenomenal card, which is going to impact the metagame greatly. And it's got things like those tools that give you V-Star powers, which are going to impact the metagame greatly. So I'm not saying it's not going to impact the metagame. I'm saying it's not going to do what Lost Origin did and bring in, multiple new decks and lots of new things like that. It is going to have an impact, but the impact is largely going to be Lugia. But you do have Lugia. You have the alternate art of Lugia. And if the recent trends are anything to go by, that Lugia is going to be huge. In terms of playability, in terms of value, in terms of everything, this is going to be big. So that's kind of the point here. If you go and buy this set, you could get the Lugia. And as it stands at the moment, both in Japan and over here, although again, we don't know yet, the set's either not come out or it's not been out long enough. We need to hold our horses a little bit. The Lugia does seem to be trending a little bit higher than the Giratina we're going to talk about in a minute. This does seem to be a huge card. But that's kind of it in terms of the big cards. Now, we also do have the full art of Serena. And again, we're early, and I need to mention this. We are early. However, I don't see this ending up as a hugely expensive card because full art supporters never do. Sure, at the moment, it's trending like a ridiculously expensive card, I admit. But no full art supporters have ended up being huge like that. Like, none of them. Boss's Orders and Irida are the biggest ones we've seen, and they haven't been able to, stay above $50. So I'm not saying it won't. It could. But I absolutely am saying it's unlikely. But it is still a good card in the set, an interesting card. A card which is probably going to end up as around a $50 card, maybe slightly more. So it is a card to absolutely keep an eye on. But, yeah, I do think that is very much worth bearing in mind. And then underneath that, really the only other card which is trending like it's going to be very expensive is the Unknown V. And this one is really interesting to me. Because on the one hand, this really should not end up being that expensive. It really shouldn't. On the other hand, every set now, there's a random card that is a random special art that isn't expensive in Japan, just suddenly becomes really expensive over here for no good reason. It happened in Lost Origin with Aerodactyl. It happened in Astral Radiance with Machamp. It could well happen in here with Unknown. There's no real explanation for it. There's no real good reason for it. It shouldn't be happening. But it is happening, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't really understand why. Oh, and I suppose I should mention Gold Lugia. Gold Lugia is going to end up... If Lugia is as good a card as we think, Gold Lugia is probably going to end up being moderately expensive. But then again, if Gold Giratina didn't end up being silly expensive, And Gold Palkia didn't end up being silly expensive. Sure, Lugia's a popular Pokemon, and sure, Lugia's looking like it's going to be a good card. But if the last two really good V-Stars, the gold versions, didn't end up being silly expensive, maybe Lugia won't either. Like, Giratina's a $20 card. So really, when it comes to Silver Tempest, and again, we don't have full data yet. We need the set to be out for a bit before we do. But it looks like you've got Lugia, and that is really the special art, as well as maybe the gold V-Star and things like that. And then we've got Serena, which I don't expect to end up being hugely expensive, and Unknown V, which actually could, even though it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. You have been warned. Okay, cool. So basically a top-heavy set with a few good cards, and then it's going to fall off very sharply afterwards. Which is kind of what we see from Lost Origin. Because if we go and have a look at Lost Origin, now Lost Origin in terms of gameplay was huge. Obviously we had the whole Lost Zone engine, which is great, and that is one really important thing to note about buying Lost Origin, because you've got things like Sableye and Comfey, which are rares, which aren't quote-unquote hits, but actually are worth, you know, they're not huge, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're going to pull a Comfey and be rich. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But I am telling you that give it a few months when this set is not as available as it is now, cards like Comfey and Sableye are going to start jumping in price if this engine stays good. You have been warned. But certainly in terms of, you know, the value cards, you're looking top level. So you've got the Giratina V, which is a very good card holding a whole bunch of value. And then you've got the aforementioned Aerodactyl, which should not be that high, but for some reason is. And then it drops off really sharp. Like, they're both, I mean, at the moment, Giratina's like a $200 card. Aerodactyl's like a $120 card. And then you got like Rotom's a $50 card. And Berserker's a $40 card, and then everything else drops to 20 or below. So it's a very, very quick fall off. So in terms of Lost Origin, you really are looking at the big cards starting off, and then you've got all the playable cards, but then it does start dropping pretty gosh darn quickly after that. But there is one big thing that Lost Origin has over Silver Tempest, and that is the Trainer Gallery. Oh, the Trainer Gallery is better in this set, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely better in this set. It's still not huge, don't get me wrong, but you do have the Pikachu VMAX, the character super rare, which is like a $40 card, and the Pikachu V, which is like a $25 card. And in terms of Trainer Gallery, that is absolutely huge. I mean, over in Astral Radiance, you've got nothing which approaches a $50 card. Over in Brilliant Stars, you've got nothing that approaches a $50 card. So actually, those two cards alone, really the big Pikachu more than anything else. But basically, the little Pikachu is as big as anything we've seen in the other sets, and the big Pikachu is well higher. And yes, I know there is Rayquaza in Silver Tempest. Maybe that gets up to that level. But I really don't, and it's only the VMAX, not the V. I don't think it's going to personally. So I do think that the Trainer Gallery from Lost Origin is the best of the Trainer Galleries. And that is something to bear in mind. So my point is, it's kind of hard to choose between these two sets. Because Lost Origin is better for the Trainer Gallery and the non-hits. But Silver Tempest has got Lugia and Serena. And that alone probably makes it better for the big hits. And that's the decision to make. But how do these stack up against Crown Zenith? Well, Crown Zenith, one thing you've got to bear in mind, it's probably not going to end up being great for money cards. Because if we have a look at Shining Fates as an example, which is the last time we had kind of a special set along these lines, in terms of hits, it's not good. Like in the main set of Shining Fates, and I'm not exaggerating here, like everything is a $2 card. In the main set, everything is like a $2 card or below. And then we get to the Shiny Vault, and sure, Charizard is like an $80 card. but nothing else is above $10. Even though they're all shiny and lovely and beautiful and amazing, everything else is like $10 or less. Please bear that in mind. There are going to be many really cool cards here, and there's going to be many cards that people really want to pull, and there's going to be absolutely stunning artwork. We'll get to that in a minute. But in terms of value, the pull rates are probably going to be quite good, and it probably is going to be the case that it's going to be hard to find cards of massive value. Now, for people like myself that just want to go and collect the set, it's brilliant. It makes it well easier. For people trying to speculate, that is going to be, I think it's fair to say, a little more awkward. You know, we've already seen absolutely stunning cards like, let's go for the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo V-Star is absolutely amazing. I think we can all agree. We've got things like Cynthia's Ambition, which is absolutely stunning. That's Suicune V, which is absolutely stunning. But how many of these are really going to end up being super valuable cards? The answer is, the one that had the best chance was Charizard. Charizard was in the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. What that means is that the one card in the set that was actually likely to really get up to proper expensive territory is not in the set. It's a promo. Now, we've not seen the whole list of these so far. Maybe there's going to be something in the future. Maybe the Mewtwo's going to make it. But the likelihood is there's going to be a whole bunch of these cards, and they're all going to end up like $10 or less, which is exactly what happened with Shining Fates. Go and have a look at the trainer gallery of Shining Fates. There are some really cool cards in there. You know, we've got the gold version of Eternatus VMAX. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. $4 card. We've got Shiny Ditto VMAX. Oh my goodness, it's Ditto. Everyone, it's $5 card. And that's kind of where I'm getting at here. I don't expect, and I could be wrong, I don't know, I can't see the future. But I'm not expecting these cards to end up being particularly expensive. And the reason is super simple. We saw a set very much like this with Shining Fates, and none of the cards got particularly expensive. Now, maybe there's going to be more popular Pokemon in Crown Zenith. Maybe the fact that it's cool artwork rather than shiny Pokemon is going to push them up. But I don't think we're going to end up with like 20 V-Stars, all of which are $100 cards. I think there might be one or two that jump out, and the rest of them are going to end up being super, super cheap. Now, if you're asking me personally in terms of collectability, oh yeah, no, go Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith's going to be amazing, because even outside of all the big ones I've shown you, bearing in mind we've got all the artwork rares, and we've got amazing ones like Ditto, and Dunsparce, and Galarian Zapdos, although that looks like it's going to be a promo over here, all of which are just absolutely stunning artwork-wise. And when you're opening packs of Crown Zenith, you're going to be opening, especially the artwork rares, just the regular Pokemon, but the cool art, they're going to be pretty good in terms of pull rates. So you're going to be pulling cool stuff constantly. It's not going to be good in terms of playability, but if you're looking to buy packs with lots of cool cards in, just like Shining Fates wasn't great for value, but had awesome pull rates for all those little shinies like, I mean, my favourites would be Greedent and Ducklet. Yes, it was an amazing set. But everybody expected Shining Fates to be full of these really expensive cards. Didn't happen. That was not a set to buy for value of pulled cards. That was just a really cool set where you kept pulling shiny Pokemon constantly. And I don't know, we can't see the future, but my guess is that's what's going to happen when we look forward to Crown Zenith. And I do think that some of these artworks are so good that a few of the cards are going to be elevated up, but I don't think enough of them for real value. So I suppose what it comes down to is this. If you're looking for big hits, Silver Tempest is going to have the alternate artwork of Lugia, and I do think that is going to be the one. And sure, Lost Origin's got Giratina, which is still an amazing card full of value, but I don't think it's going to hit Lugia heights. I think Lugia's going to win. If you're looking for playability and cool cards along those lines, then I do think Lost Origin is cool, and I do think Lost Origin has the better trainer gallery, and I do think Lost Origin is a better set than Silver Tempest, but it doesn't have that big Lugia hit, not to that same level. And I personally think Crown Zenith is just going to be stunning. And I think it's going to end up like Shining Fates, where the value isn't necessarily there, and the one card that really had a chance to be ridiculously expensive has been taken out and used as a promo. That's the Charizard. But I absolutely do think that if you just want to open cool packs and get cool stuff, I think that Crown Zenith is absolutely the way to go. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I think. Those are those sets side by side, and now it's over to you guys. I've given you my opinions, but it really is up to you. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you're the one actually buying it. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. I want to know your opinions. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts where I answer all your questions, join a Discord and have a chat with us, and generally just have an awful lot of fun. Oh yeah, and get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Mike, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So thank you very much to Mike for the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.